So I guess we can just call me Marvin Solo today because Marvin's going solo today because no one's joining. No one's got my back. So we got people in the chat. Speak up and talk. Let's chat. Got anything to say? So we're talking action figures today, but before we get into that, let's talk about Kickstarters. So before we go to the Edge Kickstarter, I want to remind everyone that Buddy Grant has his League of Cryptids Kickstarter coming up later this month. So if you have not signed up to be notified of the launch, head on over there and click that link. I will drop this into the chat. So give that a follow and a like. Support Grant, you know I will. Our next item will be, stop sharing that and share this Kickstarter. So even though this Kickstarter has ended, we are in late pledge mode. So if you're still interested in jumping on, you can still grab the trade, the books, the pens, the posters, and the stickers, and all the other fun stuff that we included in there. So we did fund on September 30th. So you still have time to get on, grab anything that you want. We've got single issues also. So if you just want to get issue 1 and check it out, it's there for you. So yeah, check it out. I'll drop that into the chat also. So we'll stop sharing that. Okay, action figures. So as comic creators, the one thing that we're always trying to do is expand our audience and look for other things that we can do besides making comics. And action figures is one of those things that everyone says they want to do. So generally, when we talk about this kind of stuff, is that let you know that I never want to discourage anyone from doing anything. So go forth and do it if you want, but be prepared for the upfront costs that are going to be incurred just getting the 3D design of the character made that you're going to do, then the molding process, then the factory. So like we're working with our guys over at Loose Collector on our figure that will be launching next year. So 2025, the Blaine action figure will be available. So I said we are working with the Loose Collector group to release the figure. So they're dealing with all the factory stuff. So that takes a lot of stuff off of my hands on what I'd have to do. So when I talk about upfront costs, depending on who you get to do the molding of the figure, you're talking $800 up front. And then you're talking about factory costs, mold costs. So you could be within the range of $15,000, $20,000, right? Really quick. And I know this is a big number, but you're going to be selling those figures for $40 or more, depending on the size. So if you're doing the scale that I'm doing is 1/18th, which would be the same as the older G.I. Joe figures, 80s, 90s, and then the 25th anniversary they did. So those are going to be a little cheaper than the 1/12 scale, which is 6 inches, like you see here. So you see that these ones are $75 each. So because you're only doing like maybe 500 or 1,000, that's why the cost is what it is. So the bigger companies, Hasbro and things like that, since they print tens of thousands of these things, they can sell them a little cheaper. But you know that those figures were a lot cheaper a long time ago than they are now also. So again, so just keep that in mind when you're looking at doing action figures of what the overall costs are going to be. Do some research, ask some questions. Like if you have questions that you want to ask me, feel free to do so. I mean, I'm really willing to share that kind of information if it's available, if I have it. But we do have a trailer for the figure. So we'll check that out. So we'll share that. We'll go fully screen. We'll unmute, and there you go. So yeah, so next year we're going to do, so this, the figure is available for pre-order right now on the website, and that pre-order will get a lot more extra swag than you will get when we do the Kickstarter next year. So jump on over to the website, and as always, I will get you a link for that also. And jump on it now, because the price is going to go up for the Kickstarter. So if you get on it now, it's $35 on the website. I think it'll be $40 in the Kickstarter. So just know that you want to take care of people who jump on board early. So here is your link. Oh, just in time, Andrew. So you're asking about when it was going to be, and I just put the link in there. See how that works? You ask a question, you get an answer. Anyway, we're doing well. So next week, we will be up in Grove City here in Pennsylvania at Bell's Comics for his anniversary show. So I think this is the second time he's going to do this. Most of the Comicsburg crew will be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I will only be there Saturday. So if you want to get some Edge, some Theme of Thieves, Cryptids, Beowulf, and Memoirs of Morbid, stop up in Bell's Comics up there in Grove City and check us out. So if there's any more chatting, Andrew, you have any questions? Since you're in the chat there, is anybody? Oh, we got 4 people watching. You know, ask some questions. Since I'm Marvin Solo today and I got nobody to throw questions off of, so I'll throw questions off the chat. So if somebody has a question, action figure related, comic book related, just shoot. So while we're waiting for that, I will share the folder that has the action figure pictures. So you saw those in the trailer, but I'll show them all here again. So this is the ad that you'll see in comics. So we made an ad to go into the comics, just let people know about the action figure. But like I said, next year, finally have this in hand, a lot of fun with it, and we'll get to punch other action figures in the face. So this is the Kickstarter cover for the Blaine High Stakes one-shot book. So in the story, there is a gentleman who has some information. I'm not going to say what the information is that he has just yet. He is in the Wildfire Casino in Las Vegas, and he's running his mouth. So a few nefarious people are going to try to either capture or kill him, and Blaine is the one that's going to be in their way, because Blaine has been tasked with getting him out of there at all costs. So that's why you've got poker chips, you got cards on the table, this high stakes. Blaine's going all in. So this will be the packaging for the figure. So if you order the figure outside of the website or Kickstarter, there'll be a code with the figure that'll get you the trade. So you'll be able to use that code on the website, and you'll be able to order the trade for the one shot for free. So everyone who orders it will get the trade for free. So there's more pictures of Blaine, action poses. So the figure does have 2 heads, one with sunglasses and one without sunglasses. There will be multiple hands that we'll have shown in the image coming up. So you've got fists, you've got grip hands, and then you've got trigger finger hands. So Blaine will able to put his trigger fingers into the grips on the pistol. So you can simulate him firing at people and taking them out. So like that. And so I mean, I said is that with action figures is a lot different than the comics. Like comics do have a lot of upfront costs, but it's never going to be as much as the figure is going to cost, because like you're not unless you can find a factory or a company here in the United States that's willing to do it at the same price they were able to do it overseas. It's really going to be expensive, because now you have to deal with freight and putting on a boat or plane and then getting those things dropped off, and then worry about damages. So when you're dealing with comics, you're always going to have damages with your book. So you account for that, but with a little, you over order a little bit. So with these figures, you're counting on 1-2% of those figures being damaged in some way during shipping. So then you figure out, okay, so what do I do with those? So that's where those are the ones you send to reviewers. They're not really concerned about the state of the figure. Like the packaging is usually what's going to get damaged. But if you want to send those off to reviewers or someone who does like posing or photography for action figures, you can send it to them. And I mean, that's just more marketing. So you get that in front of people who do YouTube shows about action figures, then you can get them to review them or show them playing with them and saying how much fun they're having. And it just helps a little bit. So that's it. You'll consider that, like, put that as part of your marketing budget. So instead of damages, now you've got things that you can use for marketing. So out there in the chat, speak up, say something, talk to me, because I'm just Marvin solo today, because, you know, people aren't out there. The Comicsburg crew was not available to help today. So it's just me. So I'll just pop up the websites to show. So that's for the action figure. So I say, like I said, is that if you want to get pre-order now, you can. It'll be cheaper to pre-order it now than it will be on Kickstarter. And of course, as I said, you'll get a little bit more swag if you pre-order from the website. Like I said, the one shot and the poker chips will be part of the deal. So you'll get those plus a few other things. So there is the trade Kickstarter, which again is in late pledge mode. So Kickstarter didn't have late pledges last time I did one of these. So once the project ended, that was it. So now you can actually get more people involved after it's over. Just like if you have people who are waiting to make sure that it funded and they weren't sure it was going to fund, now that it's funded, it's kind of like a store. So that you can just go and order whatever's available. So here is Grant's Cryptid Kickstarter. So that's for his issue 2. Issue 1 will be available also. So if you missed issue 1, you can catch up with this Kickstarter. So the plan was to have my buddy JD on, because he's doing an action figure also. So then we can talk to him about what he was doing with his figure and see what we were doing different, or what some of the things that like we can glean off of each other to try to help to see what we want to do with these figures going forward. Because again, like I said, is that costs, moving 1,000 figures is not going to be an easy thing to do. So even if I like say get 500 sold through the Kickstarter, and then top that with the other 200-300 that I've already sold, then you still got 300 left. So that's going to be going to comic shops. That's going to hopefully going to Big Bad Toy Store, maybe finding smaller toy stores that still exist, since Toys R Us is coming back, but they're not across the country yet. That's going to be taking things to conventions. So then now you have to pack very tightly on a convention because they're not books. So you can stack books on top of each other, but you can't stack comic books on top. I mean, comic books on top of figures, or the figures on top of the comics. You don't want any crinkles and wrinkles going on. So yeah, so I mean, if nobody in the chat has any questions, I mean, this is probably going to be a short show, since I wasn't prepared to go solo today, even though, you know, I want to call myself Marvin Solo from now on the show. So if nobody's got anything, and I guess we can call it a night. Thanks for joining.